Yeah, so good victory there from the Cheetahs. Cheetahs walking away from that 70, but well, winning by 1 point. Final score 17 Cheetahs and 16 Pumas. Yeah, rather, slow start to the game. I think first half very, lethargic. I think both teams, perhaps came into this game looking to, to assert themselves, looking to play that enterprising rugby, trying to sort of outplay each other, right? Because sort of traditionally Cheetahs, Pumas, they do favor sort of the running game, keeping the ball alive. But I think in the first half, it was just the first half riddled with a lot of mistakes. And I think the score line sort of showed what sort of game we had because going into halftime, the score was 3 Cheetahs, 6 Pumas, right? Nothing really to write home about. But I think it was, yeah, once again, a lot of errors, right? I think the skill set was rather poor in that first half, right? A lot of misplaced passes, passes going behind the player, passes going wayward somewhat, and I think that resulted in sort of the slow, lethargic game that we saw in the first half. Also, I think when it came to the breakdown, both teams, didn't execute that area of the game. Maybe it's a work on from both sides, right? Not committing enough people to the breakdown, and as a result, it allowed the oppositions. Each team were equally poor in that area, so it allowed the opposite team to be able to slow down the ball effectively, but most importantly to be able to affect the turnover, right? But we sort of saw that sort of 12 to 15 minutes into the second half, right? We saw a bit of rugby, a bit more attacking, especially from the Cheetahs. We saw Clayton Bromwich coming into the game quite nicely, initiating quite a few plays. And as a result, he did had a fantastic break, a good offload to Brandon Thompson, who equally was able to find Ruben Pinar for them to be able to take the lead, cross over the line and take the lead. But, the Pumas never die attitude, once again. And I think they being awarded with a penalty try, right? I think that's one area and one positive that sort of Jimmy Stonehouse will walk away with his sort of forwards coach, will walk away from the game with is the fact that they were clearly dominant when it came to the maul in particular. I think both sides were equally matched when it came to general set pieces, so line out time. Most of the time, they won their own ball. Equally, come scrum time, there weren't too many scrum penalties, right? But the one area where I can definitely say the Pumas had the upper hand was definitely the Mauls. They seem to be going forward at every opportunity, and as a result, as I said again, they were awarded by the ref, which I would honor with a try. But yeah, Cheetahs were able to also then, they got into the swing of things again. Clayton Blommetjies, doing very well with a good cut-out pass to Rudolph, but also Rudolph doing very well. Ronnie Rudolph, carrying the ball well and a very good offload to Duncan Saul. Duncan Saul equally doing very well to actually have the awareness to look for the inside man, finding his number 13, right, his outside center, and the Cheetahs were then able to score another try. And I think just generally in terms of the game, right, it started off very slow, right? I think both teams a bit anxious, feeling each other, right? But also a very error-ridden game. But I think as we sort of moved into the second half, we saw sort of the basic skills, those minute details, the details in the game, the passing got better, and as a result, we sort of saw a better spectacle. I think just generally going into it, I think the one thing that both teams will be working on, especially the Pumas, also considering last week sort of how they played, right, is just how they then go about their receiving. Because too many times, I think both sides were, were in the wrong for it, if I could put it that way. They were in the wrong for it because what happened is they'll score points, but automatically thereafter they won't be clinical in terms of exiting and transferring the pressure away. So they'll easily give the opposition the opportunity to chip away at the points again. So that's just maybe one area that they need to focus in particular. But I think generally looking at the balance of play, I think the Cheetahs walked away with the victory because of just the experience. We saw Clayton Bromwich grow into the game. We saw Ruan Pienaar grow into the game, but also Jean-Louis Rudolph grow into the game. So I think that was sort of the difference today. The 1 point difference was a result of that particular, that particular factor, and just that the Cheetahs just seemed to find something. They just seemed to have the experience, but also the Pumas, their worst enemies, right? For sure, had 2 opportunities to knock the ball deep inside the Cheetahs. The Cheetahs two, right, with penalties, but couldn't find touch. Equally, I think right at the end there, Devin Williams was a bit unlucky. With a very good kick and chase. Right, Brendan Thompson getting that. Getting that call where I think it should have been Pumas' ball. Pumas' ball with an attacking line out on the 5, and possibly they could have affected the game, and we could have had a better. Pumas could have had a better outcome, right? But for me, Lukhanyo Chongweni, right? Thank you. And please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do like and subscribe. We've got lots of rugby for you. But yeah, good evening, and Lukhanyo Yabulela. Thank you.